And I dedicated my life to golf after that tournament. And I spent a full year saying, I will get better for next year's tournament. And I took hardcore lessons, and I was out there grinding on the range multiple days a week, playing more rounds, caring about my handicap. And then I came back a year later in 2024, and everyone was shook.
Just shook.
They said, who is this girl?
Yeah.
That is not the same Erin we know. And it was really fun to be check out my stroke.
Erin, welcome to the party. The party. Very, very excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Having me. That's right. So for any of you who have not yet met Erin, she is not only beautiful and amazing, but she's also a phenomenal host, a journalist, a media personality. You may recognize her on many red carpets alongside E, which you've been with E! News since 2015.
Oh my God, you know better than I. Yeah, almost 10 years.
That's so crazy.
ELA for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
But I was in Asia for Asia 2 years or a year before that. I don't know. It's been many years.
That's right. And then you are the host of E! The Rundown. And you've had about, what is it? I think 1,000 episodes or more.
Over 1,000 episodes.
Wow, that's so cool.
I don't even, 1,000 plus. I think we might even have 1,200 or something like that. I stopped counting after 1,000, but it's a lot.
That's amazing. See, crushing it. And also, Erin is a very, very avid golfer, loves golf, and we're going to dive into all of it.
Okay,
let's do it. Okay, so I actually like to start off every pod with how I've met my guest.
Okay.
And first impressions.
Okay.
And, not often, especially as hosts, anyone tells us their first impressions of one another.
Wait, I love that.
So I'm like, why not? Do you remember how we met?
I do, but I want to hear what you have to say first.
Okay, of course. So we met, I believe, at Hallie's Girls Night. And when we say Hallie, she's a mutual friend of ours. She kills it. Hallie Ledbetter, great last name. If you don't know her name in golf, her dad's a legend, and she's made a great name for herself as a media personality. And we were at Top Golf for her girls' night event, and it was women of all levels of golf. And that's where I met you. But I have seen you, on social and everything before, because you were popping up, on all my friends' pages. And I'm like, who's this girl?
Okay.
And, yeah.
Wait. Okay, so go on.
Okay, wait. Are you gonna? Am I wrong? Did we meet before this?
We met before this, but it was very briefly, and we didn't really have much of an interaction. But it was when Michelle Wie West and I were in a pickleball tournament for Colton's charity, and she and I were teaming up, and you went to, I guess, support either Colton or Michelle or whatever. And we met then, and I had seen you on social media. But I was like, wait, what's the connection? You were just there, and I was like, oh, hey. And I was like, oh, who are these cool girls? You were with Ash at the time. Were you guys already dating?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we were dating for sure. Yeah.
So we met then very briefly, and then we saw each other again at the Hallie's Girls Night.
Yes.
And then we keep seeing each other at every golf event in LA.
Now. So that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
So I know the length of our relationship.
She remembers. Yeah, she was busy pickleballing, and I was just cheering people on.
I'm clearly forgettable, and you are unforgettable.
No. You're very, very rememberable. Totally not a word. But I remember at girls' night when I finally met you, you never know what you're going to get when you finally meet people from online and what have you, especially outside of the golf industry, entertainment. And when I first met you, my first impression was, oh my gosh, she's so cute and petite. you're so cute. And I thought you're stunning, beautiful, big, beautiful smile, and very kind. I loved that. I already knew prior to when I met you that you were half Filipino. And so, of course, I feel like anyone that you meet, especially when you're Filipino, you're all family. And
you just know.
There's a cultural kind of connection there. And you were also very attentive to the lesson.
Oh, I was very attentive to the lesson because I really wanted to take in what you had to say, because I've seen the videos of you smacking that ball with heels on, and she was wearing heels that night. I'm like, this girl, I better take notes. So yeah, I was very excited, and you commented on my grip, and I just know every single thing we've ever said to each other. You liked how I had my grip.
Yeah.
It was like this one.
Yeah, this one. That's the
that
one.
one.
See, oh my gosh, you remember even the smaller details.
I remember the smallest details between you and I.
Okay, see, we love the first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't get to talk about that much.
Yeah.
So I think for anyone who follows you on social media, I think it's pretty obvious to know that you're an avid golfer. You love to share your journey. So you have to tell me how, when, where, how did it all begin? How did you get into the game?
Okay, so I just want to say, in 2023, I appeared on Michelle Wie and Hallie Ledbetter. We were just talking about them. I appeared on their podcast because Hallie saw on social media that I had gone to the range here and there, and she found out oh, Erin must golf, sent it to Michelle. They're like, let's have you on the pod. I appear on their pod, and I'm telling my story of what got me into golf. And let me just say, I embellished the hell out of that story, being like, yeah, I was golfing since high school. I got really good. I could have gotten a scholarship. I'm such a liar. But part of it is true. So let me be honest now. This new Erin, this new year of realizing things and being very self-aware. And I think I was trying to peacock a little and show off because I was in the presence of greatness, you know?
Michelle Wie
and Hallie, legendary, whatever. But now that I'm with you, my girl, my Girk, and we are being honest. Okay, let me just break it down for real.
Okay.
So in high school, I played soccer pretty competitively.
Okay.
I got super burnt out once I got into high school, my junior, senior year. I was just over it. And my dad was very invested in my soccer journey and just my entire athletic life. I played every sport growing up. So I quit soccer, and my dad is devastated. We get into fights about it. He's saying, this is the thing that's going to get me a college scholarship, blah, blah, blah. Also, I was very into drama and being a thespian and being a performer and wanted to be a broadcaster.
Typical Filipino. You can do it all.
Typical Filipino. And my dad is the Filipino one.
I was going
to do that. And then it wasn't that he didn't want me to do that, but he just saw that I had this passion and capability with soccer, although I wasn't even starting. So it wasn't it was really going to get me anywhere. But my mom was fully in support of me being a thespian and following that dream. Whatever. I quit soccer. There is now turmoil in the house.
Or in strife.
Yes.
Okay.
So what do? I say, I'm going to take up golf to make my dad happy because he golfs. My godfather golfs. It's just a thing that they do. And the girls' golf team at my high school consisted of maybe 3 girls. And they wanted people to join the golf team. And the golf coach says to me, Lim, what are you going to do with your life? You're not playing soccer. And I say, well, I guess I'll join the golf team. Because also, if I join the golf team, that gets me out of 5th and 6th period. And that's important.
Many good things.
So many good things when you have to report to your golf tournament. So I joined the golf team. I quote unquote try out, which meant nothing. I think I made contact with the ball because I have an athletic background and hand-eye coordination. I was able to.
So you literally just went out there and you just wung it
at
tryouts.
Oh yeah, totally. And the coach said, it's a bit baseball-y, but we could work with that. My dad is so excited. We are on good terms again. He takes me to get lessons in high school, and I just start golfing in high school. And I'm golfing. I'm going to the tournaments. I was in the 5th group, which is the least best group, if you know what I'm talking about in a tournament.
Yeah, I do because I've also played high school golf, which is funny, yeah.
And then after 2 seasons, I worked my way up to the 1st group because there was no one on the team. But I got decent enough to make contact, have a good time, whatever. I think I got most improved at one point and thought that maybe this could lead to a golf scholarship. I think a level 3 college was saying, oh, you could play golf here, but they weren't about to give me a scholarship. I totally said that on a podcast, and I'm why did I say that? I'm such a loser. Thinking I would never golf with Hallie and Michelle in the future, so they'll never know how bad I really am.
Oh my
So I'm
goodness.
yeah, I'm so good. No, I was not good. So I played 2 seasons, though, in high school.
Okay.
After I graduated, never played after that. Never played, never got onto a course. But occasionally, I would go to the driving range because it was fun and happened to still have clubs, whatever. And I would post about it here and there, but no real form, no technique, nothing. And then I just stopped. Years had gone by. And then I randomly hear from Michelle Wie, who says, come onto my podcast about golf. And I say, sure. And then I had no intentions of getting back into golf, even after doing that podcast.
Right.
And
So funny.
But my husband in 2023 said, you need to get a hobby. He's like, what is your hobby? And I said, oh, I used to golf, I used to surf, I used to play soccer. He said, keyword used to. What is your hobby right now?
Yeah.
And I said, I work out, I do yoga, I hang out with my girlfriends.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, that's maintaining your health. You need to do those things. What do you do
minimum.
for fun, Erin?
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess I go to work. And so I was like, you're right. I need to have a real hobby. So I said to myself, it will be golf. In 2023, my hobby will be golf. Dragged my feet for 4 months. We get to April and my husband says, how's your hobby going? How's golf going? Hadn't done it. But then, this is the god of it all, Michelle Wie reaches out and she says, play in the celebrity tournament with me. And I say, hell no. And she says, we do not keep score. It's Justin Timberlake's tournament. And we drink a lot of tequila. And I said, hell yes, sign me up. So then I spend a couple weeks in anticipation getting out on the driving range, practicing. And I still haven't had that feeling of hitting it pure, you know, like when it really just clicks and when you get bit. But I was very excited to be at Justin Timberlake's celebrity tournament.
That is wild.
I go out there with like really no good foundation. I'm just out there to have a good time and they needed girls. So I go and I had the best time of my life. And that was when it all clicked. And I said, this is what golf is about.
Why it's so fun.
It did not register in high school. It did not register all these other times. And then I got it. I'm like, it's about camaraderie, spending good time with people. It is about having a drink and a laugh. And who cares if you hit it sideways or the other way or whatever. It is about the vibes and the fashion. For me, it's about the fashion.
Oh, we'll get it. We'll absolutely touch on that. There's a lot to work with here. Okay, so firstly, to back it up a little bit, for those of you who don't know who Michelle Wie is, she is one of the most renowned female golfers. She is known not only for her ability, but also for the work that she's done on and off the golf course. You can't miss her. She's 6 foot.
Yeah, you cannot miss her. And also, like, the age in which she started, I mean, we're practically the same age. So seeing a young phenom that was my same age, like hearing about her in middle school, early high school, and you're like, who is this professional taking over the world? Like, she was a household name very early.
Yeah, it's one of those names that if you're like, do you know anyone in golf? And Michelle is like, oh, I know Michelle Wie and I know Tiger Woods. Like, Michelle was one of them. And now you get to hang out with her. And now she's just calling you to go
and
play.
now we're
You're
friends
on
and we
pod.
text. And honestly, that tournament did change my life. Just getting to experience that because of how fun it was. And you realize, oh, golf is not really just about the game and hitting the ball and like making great shots. Although it is.
It helps.
It makes it a lot more fun. But it is fun on its own, just being out there in nature with other people, having a good time. And I dedicated my life to golf after that tournament. And I spent a full year saying, I will get better for next year's tournament. And I like took hardcore lessons and I was out there grinding on the range multiple days a week, playing more rounds, caring about my handicap. And then like I came back a year later in 2024 and everyone was shook.
Just shook.
They said, who is this girl? That is not the same Erin we know. And it was like really fun to be like, check out my stroke.
That's crazy. So it really hasn't been that long since you revisited the game.
Yeah, no.
It's only been a couple of years, not even.
Yeah, April will be 2 years of like being really invested.
I think that just also shows your athleticism because you were away from the game in high school, never touched it. And then you're like, Michelle Wie hits me up. I'm in this game.
When duty calls, one must show up.
Okay, so since you've been in your golf journey, I think what's been really cool to watch is that you've been able to work with some really cool golf brands. You just mentioned, Justin Timberlake's event, and you've been invited to really cool golf events as well. How has that experience been for you? Like, did you ever think that just picking up a golf club was going to open up these new doors?
Had no idea. It has become like part of my brand identity. I feel like it's like me and golf are synonymous now. Is weirdly, and I'm not trying to even embellish that or say I'm good or anything. I'm still trash, and I really am out there for the vibe and for the fashion and making good friends. Like a lot of my friends are like 70-year-olds that I meet on the Muni course. But I never thought that I would be doing like golf brand deals or going out to these fun tournaments, like playing in a pro-am, the RMC in Detroit with Grayson. That was
cool.
absolutely cool. It's surreal. And it gave me that feeling of butterflies again, where I don't know if you feel this when you're hosting, you're on camera, or you're doing anything live. You feel this nervousness that keeps you grounded. It makes you feel, I don't know, just so it's exhilarating. And golf does that for me. Every time I step up to a tee, whether it is in front of a bunch of people, which I absolutely hate, or if I'm amongst my 70-year-old dudes that I just met, like I get so nervous. I get butterflies. I have to like stay focused in the zone. I have to have like a little pre-round mantra. I have to like really get in touch with like focus. Or if I play with my dad and my uncle, so nervous.
Really?
It keeps me so alive. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I like that nervousness because it really connects me to, I don't know, reality, I feel like.
I mean, well, you came from a competitive background, so I don't know how you felt when you were playing soccer back in the day. But, you know, that competitive juice. I will say that any celebrity that I've talked to when it comes to golf, no matter, like Steph, right? Steph Curry. And you can ask him, he'll literally say that there is no more nerves that I'll ever face than when I'm on a first tee. And compared to anything else in his career.
Chills. That's Steph
right?
Curry.
Yeah. And I've been able to watch him play, and it's just like, how are you like the GOAT in basketball and you're like really good at golf? So
yeah, I feel like anyone would say they'd much rather do something that's super hard than get up to the first tee in front of people.
Yeah.
No way.
So,
it's so nerve-wracking.
Were you extremely nervous when you first played at the 8 a.m. Invitational, Justin's tournament?
Yeah, I think I took a shot before I stepped up to the tee and like was just so grateful I made contact. And then we also had to do a chipping over the water, like hole-in-one contest.
What a perfect challenge to get out there and just get
like
started over the water.
Like a 70-yard chip shot type thing. Oh my God, I wanted to vomit. I was like, please, like my
hands are shaking.
Sweaty. I'm like, please just hit this ball. And I made contact. It went into the water, and then Michael Phelps pretended like he was going to dive into the water and get the ball, which was kind of iconic.
I mean, we'll take that.
I was happy.
If anyone's going to dive into the water, it's got to be...
Let it be the fish himself.
Gotta be Michael Phelps. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's pretty cool though. So back to how you've been able to be around so many amazing people through golf. Who would you say is the best A-list golfer that you've seen?
It's got to be Justin Timberlake or Jimmy Fallon. They are
really
so fun. Like Jimmy Fallon, I don't think there has been a day in his life where he's off. He is always
that is true
entertaining, and he is so fun and silly. And I was asking myself, is this him 365, like 247 all the time?
Yeah.
Or is this just like another performance? But I think he just really loves to have a good time, and golf really allows that. And he doesn't take himself too seriously. He doesn't take the round too seriously, which really takes the edge off. So he's
for sure
so much fun to play around with. And I was lucky enough the last 2 years to play like a front nine and a back nine with Jimmy and Justin.
That's
and
crazy.
Justin really takes the game seriously. He's so fun too because he likes to have a good time. I asked him what got him so into golf, and he said just being on tour when he was with NSYNC, and you know there's like hours in between your days before shows, and he just like had nothing but time, so he got into it young, and so it's like cool to have real conversations with people like that on the golf course. It's just something about being outside and being on a course where everyone's guards kind of just come down and they become a little more real with you.
Relax and chill. It's the one place where you could just like, I think, also really, really get to know someone on the course, which is great. Mm-hmm. So who would you say is a better golfer among the two, Jimmy or Justin?
Justin. I feel like he has the ability to be pro if he wanted to. If he said, I'm done touring and I'm going to dedicate my life to just golfing, like he will probably go pro. He could be that level of good. And then Jimmy, I feel like he is just naturally good. He's like dancing, he's sashaying on the freaking fairway.
I see this. I can visualize
all of a sudden he like does a spin and then he hits it and then it's just like a gorgeous shot. and with a 3-wood, and there was like no focus that went into that, and we were like, wow, well, he just birdied that hole.
So let's dive actually into your career now. I think that this is a very interesting part of things because I think as hosts, I don't think we get asked those questions very much. And so as a host, getting to talk to another host, I think it's really exciting to actually get to hear your story. So we'll start with the absolute basics. Did you always want to step into entertainment? Did you always want to become a host?
Yeah, I always wanted to be in entertainment, probably since I was in utero. Like, I came out singing and dancing and making my own shows, whether I was in front of the camera, behind the camera, or writing stories. I just loved every aspect of the entertainment business. And when I was in elementary school, I would steal my parents' camcorder, put it on a tripod, and say, "Welcome to my show.
No
I'm
way.
Erin Lim, and
That's so
this is my
cute.
guest, my baby sister." and then in middle school, I would do the fake newscasts, and I would be in the school plays. And for some reason, my parents let me do the plays when I have the worst voice. That's where the Filipino did not kick in for me.
The singing didn't come?
The worst voice. I'm tone deaf. I can't carry a note. It's very unfortunate because if I could sing, it would be over for you bitches.
It would be over for you bitches, literally.
It'd be so over. Like, I would be a pop star.
I can see this for you.
And unfortunately, I had to become a broadcaster. So... Yeah, no, I didn't have the singing and dancing capabilities, but broadcasting, storytelling, always in search of stories. Love to be a little investigative news reporter. Harriet the Spy was my favorite movie growing up. If you know that 90s film, she's a spy and she like writes in her journal about people and reports about them, and that was so me. So I was always in search of stories. And then high school, because I loved being in the plays so much, I was like, do I want to be an actor? And my father said, no.
Absolutely not.
We live here in LA and we are not. I don't want you sipping on that juice thinking that you're going to become an actor and start waiting on tables. No offense, not that like that's a bad thing, but he was like, I want you to go to school. So like, if you want to do that later, fine, but go to school. He's like, why don't you look at the people like Robin Roberts and Brooke Burke and, you know, these newscasters, Connie Chung, like, why don't you go to broadcast journalism school? And I said, yes, great. So then I went to school to study broadcast journalism and television and documentary at Chapman University in Orange County.
That's right.
Yeah, so that is not too far from LA where I was born and raised, which was nice and close enough so I could still do internships here in the city. And then, from there, my story just keeps on going.
So after Chapman, soon after you got out, you got the E gig pretty right away, no?
So while I was in school, I was working for the local news station in Orange County.
Okay.
And it was like the local Orange broadcast. And I was building my reel and essentially started my professional career while I was in school. And then by the time I graduated, I had all of my ducks in a row and I decided to move to Singapore and start my life there. And I didn't have the E Asia gig yet. So while I was in school, I went to study abroad and I was in Singapore doing a documentary, and it was only like a 6-week winter program. And everyone was asking me, what is your plan when you graduate? And I said, I want to be a broadcaster. I want to be a host on air. And all of the Singaporeans there said, you should consider Southeast Asia. You're half Filipino. You have the look, whatever that is, the quote unquote look, you have the look of a broadcaster here. And, you could totally make it out here in Asia. And I had never considered it. My thought was that I would go to Billings, Montana, a small local news market. Because back in our day when we went to school, you had to start in a small news market in a very small city in a random part of America. And I had all of that set up for me. So when I came home from Singapore, I'd tell my parents, okay, I think I want to move to Asia. And they're freaking out.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Mexipino, they're like, absolutely not. You're living here forever until you're married.
That part. And especially with my dad coming from the Philippines, He's like, no, we made it out of the Philippines. We came to America for a better life for you.
I did this for you.
Literally, he's like, we're not going. If we're going back to the Philippines that I know, like, it's not happening. And I said, no, I'm going to Singapore, which is actually the Disneyland of Asia. It is. So you've golfed Sentosa and all of those crazy courses. It's the Disneyland of Asia. It's so clean. It's so safe. It's English speaking. It's first world. It is Asia of the future, it feels like. And my dad had never been to Singapore, so he had no idea what I was talking about. So then after I graduate, I'm like checking my emails and I'm sending emails to different producers and executives in Singapore saying, my name is Erin Lim Rhodes, or not Rhodes, I wasn't married at the time. I said, my name is Erin Lim and here's my reel. And the title of the email said, this might be a long shot. And then it was like a clickbaity way to get them to open the email. And then inside was my reel, my headshots, portfolio, everything. And everyone responded saying, great, we see that you would be fitting here in Singapore, but like, do you live here? And I said, no, you're going to give me the job. Then I'm going to move there. And this guy who was essentially the Ryan Seacrest of Southeast Asia reaches back out to me and says, I'm in LA. Let's take a meeting. And I'm reading this during my graduation ceremony, during the commencement speech. I'm checking emails, like getting my life in
About
order.
to miss your name.
Yeah, for real. And so I meet with this Ryan Seacrest type guy, Ollie Pettigrew. He now works in America. But he said, hey, I'm moving outside of Singapore. I'm going to give you all of my contacts. I'm going to set you up. I'm going to get you in these doors in Singapore. I see you have what it takes. You're hungry and you're young and you have talent. And he's like, I'll get you in the doors. It's just what you do in those doors. And he said, why don't you give yourself a 3-month budget to make it or break it in Singapore? And what do you have to lose? And I said, okay, sounds good to me. And so I packed my bags the end of the summer after I graduated from Chapman, moved to Singapore without a visa or anything. Sorry, Singapore. I eventually got a working visa. And I started, just hosting a myriad of different shows in Singapore. Then I got eAsia, and then from eAsia, eHollywood saw
That's what I was
me.
going to ask.
Yeah.
So that was how that bridge happened. So did they come to you first for the gig, or did you reach out, or you were like, hey, I think it's time. I want to come back to the States. Would you take me over here?
So that was like a really weird God thing too, where like I was at eAsia, but I'm from LA. So I come home to like visit my family, and I just emailed the international team that's based in LA. And I say, hey, eHollywood, it's your girl Erin from eAsia. Can I do a studio tour? Can I come visit the hosts in LA? And they said, oh, perfect, you're in town. Let's do an eAsia special direct from Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it'll broadcast to Asia, and you'll show what the Hollywood studio is like. And I said, dope. I just manifested my eAsia special.
Yeah.
From me shooting that eAsia special, I'm in the studio. I'm talking to Jason Kennedy. We're having this fun banter, and a casting director is tuned into the live feed of the studio. Just up in her office, she sees everything that's being shot in the studio, and it says, who's that girl? And at the time, they were looking for their newest 360 correspondent to do hosting,
like right time, right place.
Right time, right place. And she asked around, got my email. I'm already back in Singapore after my trip is done, and I get an email from her that says, hey, this is super random, but can you give me a call? And then her signature was E-Talent and Casting, and I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I get on a call with her, and she said, would you be interested in moving back to California to be one of our hosts?
No way.
Can you meet with our executive team? And I said, yeah, I moved all these miles away from home so I can essentially make it back to E. Like that's the ultimate goal for me. And I thought I would be in Asia for 5 to 10 years, but that was a quick 2 years post-grad. And then I came back and started eHollywood, and I've been there ever since.
So I think that there's so much that actually goes into hosting that people don't realize, right?
Yeah,
they think it's just like
we're just like little puppets.
You just get to smile
brainless.
And you get to look, and I get to be around amazing people. Which, by the way, you've been around some really. I don't know who in Hollywood you haven't been around.
Oh my gosh,
right?
Oprah.
Okay, so is that who you'd want? Oprah, we are calling you. Please give Erin some one-on-one time with you.
For real.
But that being said, what is your preparation like, especially for big red carpet events like the Oscars or like you were at Wicked? Like, how do you plan for that?
There are binders involved with pages and pages of notes. But for award season, I have a binder Bible essentially with a list of names and nominees and movies or albums and shows, and I'm just leading up to it. I'm watching every movie, I'm watching every show, and I'm like doing my homework. I'm going on everyone's social media to stalk them and stay current on their life, and I just want to be so well informed so that I could be present in the conversation for an interview. So if they happen to say something, I could be so in tune and know what they're talking about, or maybe use it as a transition to talk about something else. And yeah, I would say there's a lot of fake conversations going on in my head before. I don't know if you do that.
I understand you, but every potential way that this conversation can go, like I must know the answer.
Totally. Like I will be in my car driving to interview Brad Pitt, and I'll say all of my questions out loud and think about how he will possibly answer, and then how I will possibly follow up.
I get it.
So a lot of fake combo happens in my head, and it kind of helps because then I'm a bit well adjusted, I guess, or I feel comfortable, and that is so not normal when I say that out loud. And if you're watching that, you're thinking she's got issues.
I think it's honestly very normal in the hosting world, and it's kind of just like practice. You're just practicing with yourself, and you can literally sound insane, but I completely get it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to now that now you're involved in so much golf, how much does golf actually come up in your day-to-day work?
Ooh.
Like conversations? Like, do you feel like you have an advantage that you play golf and then all these celebrities are golfing now?
Yeah, it actually... And I will say it does come up a lot more with the men. But when I'm talking to maybe executives who that is kind of part of their meeting life, and they go on work golf trips and all of these things, we talk about it a lot, and it's really enjoyable. I could be at a dinner and
you're like really right there. You relate to them.
And I'm like, whoa, I'm in this little inner circle here. And then they'll ask, let me see a video of your swing. And I got to pull out the driver videos and all of that. I have a whole folder of over 1,000 golf videos. And I'm like, see, I know what I'm doing.
I love that.
Yeah. So it comes up in combo, which is always fun. And it comes up in regular day-to-day. And my husband, who does not golf, is now very... I roll. He's like, oh no, they're talking about golf again.
I can't believe he hasn't gotten into it.
He sees how much fun the vibe is. Like at the tournament that I was telling you about, the Justin Timberlake one, he says, I understand. I get it. I think I want to do it. He gets Mira golf clubs.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm like, you just need to know. I was like, babe, you just need to know what it feels like to just hit it like
one
so
solid
flush.
Shot. Yeah.
Just like it is euphoria. Like it is a drug you want to keep on chasing.
This is true. It really is a drug, which is why so many people catch the golf bug. It's because they're addicted to that one solid feeling, and they think that they could do it way more often, and then they're in it for a lifetime.
They're in it for a lifetime. And let me tell you, my algorithm is...
It's golf.
It is all the tips. It's all you. It's literally all you.
Tips with Tish.
We were at the movies the other day, and we're waiting for the previews, and I'm watching. He's like, are you seriously watching Nelly Corda swing for the 50 millionth time?
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. So what has been your biggest pinchy moment in your career?
Oh, in my career? Probably every time I get to hand hug Brad Pitt. That's a pretty pinch me moment. We have this thing now where every time we see each other, we do a hand hug, because I was so nervous to interview him, and I felt like the last person on earth that was interviewing Brad Pitt, and I needed to break the ice for myself. So the first thing I said to him was, Brad, hand hug. And he's like, what is that? And I taught him how to do a proper hand hug. And then I've seen him 2 or 3 times since, and now we always hand hug. And that's kind of a pinch me moment, I would say.
That's absolutely a pinch me moment. Now, is he shorter in person? No?
He's the perfect size.
He's okay.
Perfect.
Correction. He's the perfect size.
Let me tell you, no notes on Bradley Pitt.
No notes. I am a gay woman, and I will also say no notes. I saw him from like across the room at F1, and I was like, that's God. I'm like, he's dressed as good. He's like 50 something, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, 50 something, maybe even in his 60s. I don't know. No, I'm aging him. He's still in his 50s.
Yeah,
yeah. No,
but he looks fine. So let's bring it back into golf.
Mm-hmm.
So you picked up the game basically after the pandemic, which, fun fact, I think 60% of women since the pandemic make up the population of new golfers, which is really, really exciting. So for you in your journey, what has been maybe like a lesson or a concept in golf that has just been so hard to grasp? Like you're just like, this makes no fucking sense to me. Someone please tell me how to make this work.
Oh my God, so many things.
She's like, everything.
Like
Every day I think
let me think of the thing that doesn't make the most sense. Okay. The in to out.
Oh, we're getting
thing.
into it. Okay, this is specific. Okay.
Yeah, it's very specific. Like getting like to that, like, is it like 45 degrees or something?
Oh,
like,
that's very specific.
Yeah, it's like that. And then like that into out, the path.
The path. Okay.
Is it on plane?
Yeah. On plane.
My path is like negative is bad, right?
Not necessarily
because you
bad.
want to get to see 0.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah. So my path is just trash, and I'm trying to figure that out more.
Okay, that's so specific. It's so funny. I'm like, this is not beginner level.
These are the things that I'm Googling.
Yeah.
How do I fix my path? So we'll just leave it simple on that.
Okay, well, you can text me. So let me break this down because this is not I thought it was going to be like how to hit a bunker shot in the sand. No,
that sucks too, but I've got kind of decent at this.
Okay, I believe that. So let me break this down in the simplest way possible. This is actually more of an advanced level thing, which is very interesting because Erin is, you're more on a newer golfer, and this is what you're asking or what you're bringing up. So path, for those of you who don't know, wow, I'm just trying to like simplify this. So every swing, if you so I'm really good at explaining golf, and I'm like,
I can't wait to hear what you have to say because I need to apply it.
So firstly, in golf, you need to always know where your target is, right?
Yes.
And so your path, which is the plane of your golf swing, needs to be going towards your target line, right? Now, if I swing out to in, that means you're coming over the top and swinging left of your target line. And if you're in to out, then you're swinging to the right of your target line. That's the simplest way that I can say it. If I could get up and show you without hitting this mic, I absolutely would.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that either is bad. It's not bad if you swing out to in or in to out. You just want to be as close to 0, which is the actual degrees we're talking about, degrees of your path. Like we have monitors to tell you your path, and Erin is so advanced that we're talking about numbers, right? So ideally, you actually want to be within 3 degrees of in to out, or 3 degrees out to in, or 0. Then you're okay. That means essentially you'll always be going towards the hole, because if you're just like, if you have like a wild swing, then likely you're going to be going away from the hole, which we never, ever want.
So
Hopefully
do you have
helps.
a tip on how I can be a little more in to out? Because I think the concept confuses me because it's like, it feels like I'm swinging too far to the right. And maybe this podcast is not supposed to get technical like
this is
but
great.
I do want to know from you because you're a
Yes,
pro.
Of course. Oh my gosh. So firstly, the reason why anyone would want to have an in to out path is a lot of people recommend that because it promotes further distance when you have an in to out path, because it creates a draw. And which is when, if you're right-handed, it creates that right to left. It's a stronger shot. It comes off hotter, right? And so I guess my best advice, because I know it feels scary when you first try and do that move. It's like, oh my God, am I going to shank it? Am I going to hit someone next to me, right? So you have to, it's easier said than done, but you have to not force control into it. If you're trying to intentionally guide your in to out swing as opposed to just letting your hands react to the situation, then I think that's when you'll actually more likely shank it. If you don't just let your hands roll over. Your hands, if you swing in to out, your hands have to roll over to make the ball go that way. Like you're familiar with curving the ball in soccer.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So like if you wanted to curve the ball right to left, you'd kick it probably into out with kind of like a shut foot.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay,
Is that right?
okay.
I know nothing about soccer, by the
You're
way,
getting it.
but I understand mechanics. And so in golf, you have to do the same thing. If you're swinging into out, how is the ball going to go towards your target? Well, your face needs to kind of come off a little closed at impact. If it keeps on staying open and matching your path, you're going to hit someone over there to the right.
Okay.
If you're right-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, because I've been coming over the top and being a little too steep these days.
That's a very common problem, though, for women, because I think out to in feels the most safe. It's kind of like you're chopping at the ball. But the fact that you're even practicing moving your path that way, I think is really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to golf with you
I know.
so you could
Oh my
give me
gosh.
real-time feedback.
We have to play. And then I bet you're probably already doing it. You're just not naturally allowing your hands to kind of like roll over.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So when you start seeing your ball have that curve from right to left, then you're doing it right.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
I'm going to go to the range right after
There
this.
you go. See, if you guys are still lost, just DM me.
Yeah.
I'll break it down on my next tips with Tish. I have to. This is now complex. This is advanced level.
Seriously, she's such a good instructor, especially online. I save all your videos.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Okay, so now we're getting into the world of women's golf. So as someone who just you decided to do this on your own accord, you're just like, I'm just going to get out there and I'm going to get into golf. What advice would you give other women to get into golf, especially if they feel really intimidated? You were able to do it.
I would say you have to leave your ego at the door. This is the most humbling game.
Humbling.
It's just so crazy. Do not be intimidated by the people who are so into it because really they're trash too. They're not pros.
That's fact.
And I love to see someone who has been golfing for years shank a ball. It is the most, I feel so seen by it. So whenever I play with someone who takes it so seriously and they love the game and they hit a bad shot, I just say to them, I feel seen by that shot. And they die laughing and they love it. So don't take yourself seriously. Check your ego. And also find the thing that will just motivate you. I asked my friends today on the way here who don't golf, my girlfriends, I said, what would motivate you guys to come and golf?
That's a great question.
And they said, cute outfit and margaritas.
We can do that, guys. That's actually already available.
I think that's what I'm going to do to get my friends out there. Also, I have this policy. This is my New Year's resolution. Okay. I have not put it into play yet, but my New Year's resolution is I'm not doing casual drinks, dinners, and lunches anymore.
Okay.
I am doing golf. If you want to meet me, you want to see me and spend time with me, let's get a tea time.
Okay.
You like even my best friends who don't golf, anything like that, my gals, I'm sorry, I will not have brunch with you. Like we will have a tea time at 11 and we'll have breakfast burritos and a Bloody Mary or a margarita. And that's what I'm going to do. And we could spend hours together, but I'm not going to another lunch without golf.
That is a fantastic idea. I'm going to have to adopt that now. Meet us on the golf course. Meet us at our tea time. Yeah. We'll have food ready. And it's also the best way, I think, to just get to know people. Like we're over the surface, catch-ups. We're here to see you cuss after you hit a shot and then just like get into it. Let's just talk about the deep shit.
For real. Let's golf and yap. This and yap. Yeah. And now that I'm saying it all out loud, I think I will provide a cute skirt or a sweater for whoever comes and joins me. Because if it's going to be outfits that are the motivating factor, it's my motivating factor. I want to be fresh on the course. Yes. Then I think that is what it'll do. I think we just need to encourage more casual golf. Because a lot of my friends have said, well, the golf courses are very expensive or they're so far. And they're actually not that far if you look up the local municipal course.
For sure.
They're actually nearby. They're accessible. They're not astronomical like a country club. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to go to those. Yeah. And I think we just need to have more girls' nights or parties on the first tee.
More girls' nights, just like how Erin and I did not meet the first time, but the second time.
But the second time.
More
girls' night.
So I guess that's like kind of my perfect segue is how do you feel golf is on a welcoming scale to women, on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, where are we? How are we doing?
I would say it's maybe at like a 8 or 9.
Yeah? That's really good.
And you know what? It is because I do feel like this golf world has become like a little, especially with women, a sorority where once Hallie saw that I was getting into it, she's like, I got you an appointment at Callaway. You're going to get fitted for the swim club. You want some shoes? I got Nikes on the way. You need clothes. Here's this brand and that brand and the other. And it was just the most amazing welcome into it all. I'm like, great. At least, if anything, I have the right gear.
Yeah.
And then going to events and these tournaments and whatever it may be, these girls' nights, that has really fostered a positive experience and meeting people like you who are also wanting to push the game forward, especially with females. I love that. So I think I was very fortunate to have a really positive, awesome reintroduction to it all. So I'm going to give it a 9.
That is, I think, the best rating that I've ever heard. But also, I'm someone that really comes into the thick of it. Like, I've been in when I would give it a negative score. So to hear it from you, who especially got into it just, in 2023 again, I'm like, it's so fulfilling. I'm like, my work here is almost done. We have a lot more guests coming on this pod on top of Erin. But no, that's awesome.
But I do, and here's the thing. I'm a unique situation, right? Like, people want to give me their stuff. I've got a platform. They want to make sure that I'm welcomed into it, like, all great and dandy. But I do want to figure out, how can I get my friends who aren't, say influencers or hosts or whatever, how can they have that same positive experience?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's going to take me just inviting my friends out there to see how fun it could be. A great playlist helps.
For sure. I did want to ask you, what would be your best advice to anyone who is trying to break into the industry and become a host?
Just do it. Like, sorry, Nike, I'm ripping you off. Just do it. And actually, it's funny. Like, I've mentored quite a few young people who are asking me the same question.
I love that.
And I say, find your niche. What is your beat? What is that thing that makes you alive? What can you energetically speak about? Every single one of them has done that, and they are way more famous than me now and have so much, they have huge followings on TikTok and beyond. And I now see them at the red carpets and I'm trying to interview them. So my thing for you is, what is your niche? What is the thing that you could just talk about and talk about it with energy, because people love to hear others just know exactly what they're talking about. They want to hear someone who can come alive, even if it's with rocks. If someone is just talking about rocks, but you could tell me about every single color and every single style and whatever, they want to return to your page just to hear about rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just find your beat
and
do it.
That.
Put yourself on camera. We all have cameras. We all have the capability to do this now.
That is true.
And there's no real barrier for entry. You don't have to go to a small town anymore to make it. Everyone is a journalist. Everyone can report. Everyone has a story to tell.
Yeah.
So just do it. Sorry, Nike.
Why? Gosh, we keep saying that.
Good.
Don't come after us.
I need to come up with something else.
Yeah.
Just do the damn thing. Someone already said that, Erin. Yeah.
No, I love that advice, though. I think alongside that, if I were to add to it, I would also say that it's not always going to be glamorous. We don't always get to be cute and be in front of camera, but you have to go through. Yeah. It's just better that way. And you have to go through the suck sometimes to get to that end game,
Oh, yeah. I feel like if the world hasn't humbled you, you're missing out.
For sure. You didn't learn a lesson yet.
Yeah.
And it'll come for you.
Yeah, no, I've slept on benches before to get here. So it was not always this glamorous, you guys. Like, hardship was alive and well.
Yes.
Like, there was no money at times. There was, Airbnbs and park benches and eating $4 meals. Like, it's not all Saint Laurent in Bottega, all right?
Oh my gosh, that's so wild that you say that. I've literally had experiences where I've slept in my car on multiple occasions, both as a professional golfer and both trying to enter into the entertainment world, because I'm like, they said, yes, I can go to this celebrity golf tournament. I can't get there. I got to drive there and I'm going to sleep in the car. And then obviously in professional golf, we're all starving. So just.
Can we talk about that? Like, how
yes,
much?
We have a couple minutes, but yes,
okay,
let's talk about it. No, you're fine.
I'm taking over and I'm like, let me
the
turn
host
it on
wants to,
you.
I get it. Yeah.
No, I mean, do you think professional female golfers, things are going to change as far as them having a viable living off of professional golf?
I do. But I'm also a very glass half full person, and I want the best for the girls because I've gone through that grind. I didn't make it to the LPGA, but I made it to the tour right below. But the pots are growing, women's sports is growing, and I really do think that when the girls finally add up and say, let's just work together on this, because it's an individual sport. It's a little different, you know? A lot of them still have a bit of a, I feed myself, I'm good. Maybe I don't need to care for you, but I think the more as a younger generation comes up, it's going to keep on going. And then also people I would say honestly you or the outside people who are influencing the game, really, they do help drive viewers because at the end of the day, we need more views. Yeah. So it will get there. Okay. It will get there.
All right. We're on its way.
All right. Let's end on this quick little rapid fire question. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so you are very much a fashionista. I love the way you dress both on and off the golf course, on
Thank
camera
you.
and off camera, on and off camera. Who would you say is the best dressed golfer? Doesn't have to be a pro.
Best dress.
Doesn't have to be a pro, female, non-female, doesn't matter.
Oh my God, who's the best dressed golfer? Male, female.
I feel like a lot of people say Jason Day because he rocks all the Malvin gear.
He's been looking fly.
He's been looking.
I love John Daly.
What? Really?
I just love the uniqueness. You never know what you're gonna get. The flavor, the consistency.
Okay. Was not expecting that, but we love it. Okay, John Daly. Shout out to John Daly. What is your go-to golf outfit? Could be brand, could be style.
Okay, go-to golf outfit would be a skirt that twirls, some higher socks. Right now, I'm loving old school shoes, golf shoes.
Yes.
I was on the J's for a while, and now I'm like, I like to be a little more polished. So a skirt that twirls, higher socks. I like to wear an oversized either polo or sweater, tucked in, half tuck. Yeah. And like a fun, like there has to be some type of fun accessory. So whether it be my hat or arm sleeves or like a scarf.
You do rock all those things really well. I love the hats that you bring.
My go-to thing, I guess, is a funky signature, or not even signature, a funky statement hat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even have to be funky, but it just has to, something has to flare with the outfit.
Okay.
And a skirt that twirls.
I like that. Okay. All right. And then a dream foursome could be alive or not.
Ooh, dream foursome.
I'm like, you probably played with everyone.
I know.
You played the dream team.
I feel like I've thought about this recently. Steph Curry, Ayesha Curry. I want them both. I feel like they'd be so fun. And then me. And then Charles Barkley.
That is a good one. He would be probably not the best golfer, but the most entertaining.
Right? And I like that. I feel like he and I would match each other's energy.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't feel so stiff and uptight because I know that he's for sure going to like hit a bad shot here and there. And as am I. And we will match each other's freak. And yeah. And I want to see that swing in person.
Yeah.
Because it's gone through
something. It's gotten a little better. Okay. Last question for you. If you could host a show on a golf course, who would be your first guest?
Host a show on a golf course. It would be with The Rock.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Yeah, it would be with The Rock on a golf course, somewhere tropical.
Yes.
And I love wrestling. I love WWE. He's like back in the fold, which is so exciting for us wrestling fans. Moana, big fan. Just everything he's doing. The fact that he had 2 #1 movies at the same time. He's so impressive. And he's the kindest person. I've interviewed him many times. He's very consistently kind, personable, and he's just hardworking. And I would love to see what that swing looks like too.
He would probably hit a faro if he found the center of the club.
I mean, do they make clubs that big?
I don't even know if he could handle it with all his muscle.
It would just be a sight to see.
We'll have to find out when you have your show on the golf course and you invite The Rock.
Anyone from these golf networks watching, make it happen.
Erin, thank you so much for your time.
Tisha,
that was so wonderful.
Me.
Wait, before we go, where can everyone find you?
At Erin Lim Rhodes on the IG or at Erin Lim on TikTok.
And of course, on E.
On the rundown.
That's right. That's all for now. Till next time.